Is This a Ghost is sponsored by Pinckney Bend Distillery. I think we've talked about the way that they do good before, but I was just looking over their website, and not just like good for us and giving us a good solid hour to drink whiskey in our basement.
Like universal good.
Like
for humans. And
what
stuff.
some people would call the greater good. I don't know. Jerry's a little out.
Depends on how you feel about people, I guess. But sure,
yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's worth mentioning now that we're over a year into this that they are giving all their proceeds if you buy their American vodka. I don't know if we've ever talked about their vodka. They make vodka and it's good. We don't talk about it because, I'm Pat. You correct me if I'm wrong here, but speaking for myself, when Patrick and I were early friends, we spent a lot of our days drinking pints of Pop-Off in the back room of Blockbuster Video,
and sometimes the front room. So
sometimes, and I cannot drink vodka anymore without.
Really,
it's been so long.
Is it like ramen? Is it like when you get sick of it, you like get sick of it forever?
I don't understand what does that mean to get sick of ramen?
Well, apparently you're not. Apparently you're not. That's it. Like,
are you talking about the packet, like the dry ramen? You're dry ramen,
like
Jewel Osco
10-cent ramen. 10-cent ramen. Yes.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. You think I was talking about like the ramen culture or something? What exactly were you?
like real ramen?
Yeah. Of Romania. Yeah. No, not them.
No. There's other edible ramen than just the package of noodles.
I guess. Whatever.
You moved out of Chicago a while ago, so
Are you talking about like the expensive stuff in the bowls?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, where they put like fancy shit on top instead of just like
it's food.
Instead of just like
they
a
put
salt
food
cube.
on top. And that's different than the stuff in the bags.
Yeah, that's not in my not my wheelhouse right there. But yes, so vodka, you have apparently gotten sick of it or sick from it.
Yeah, of it.
Yeah. And all the prepositions. Sick under it, sick over it. And but so you can't do it anymore?
It's tough. It's a challenge.
It's a shame.
And it's really your fault. But this is an ad for Pinckney Bend Distillery, and they have a vodka that I bet is pretty good.
I have a bottle of it upstairs. It has been calling my name.
Do you know when you buy a bottle when you buy a bottle of that very offensive sounding accent,
we will drink in the street.
When you buy a bottle of that, all the proceeds go to the World Central Kitchen, and they're giving those proceeds direct. This is Chef Jose Andres' organization. Where they feed folks on the front lines of major disasters. And I believe right now, all the proceeds from the vodka go to World Central Kitchen, but specifically to the front lines in Ukraine, in Ukrainian cities.
Oh, wonderful. That's so nice.
Which is the best. I might start drinking vodka again because of that. And you should too. And you should, if vodka makes you throw up, this is the best reason to throw up, is on behalf of the Ukrainian people who have been suffering for so long. So please, so thank you to Pinckney Bend for doing that. That's amazing. And we love them. And Patrick, you feel any remorse about kind of flippantly throwing a Russian accent out there now that we know it's about Ukraine? Or
not any more than most weeks. No,
that good. Makes sense. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Is This a Ghost? I'm Clayton Smith, and every week I tell my real friend Patrick a real ghost story from real history, and he never takes it real seriously. But today we have a real big surprise for everybody. This is a very special episode of Is This a Ghost? Because we have a very special guest joining us today in the studio. Is our good friend Jen Swanson. Jen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Jen is going to join us today as a guest host, and Patrick, I don't want you to feel nervous. I don't want you to feel like she's auditioning to replace you. I don't want you to feel like, we asked her here for any specific reason.
Right.
It's just you do your normal thing.
Is this why we decided as you guys started recording like a half hour after we usually do? Is that
No.
I mean, if you get sick, I'm here.
Don't tell him that because no. See, this is gonna no. She's lying. Don't say that.
I could have all my Mondays back. Really?
No.
Drive a hard bargain.
If I get sick, will you take my role?
Sure.
It does require some research, but
no.
I don't. Good. No, if you like the research, this is not a position for someone who likes research.
No. If Clayton dies, I don't do the podcast anymore. That was what the contract said, and I'm going to stick to it.
Yeah, that's
also,
fair.
I don't know where the big red record button is anymore.
What will I do on my drive into work on Wednesdays?
You could. I mean, I don't know. You could tell yourself a ghost story. Mm-hmm. Worst case scenario.
Very DIY. Yeah, you can scare the shit out of yourself in the car in the morning. I do it every day. Mostly because I don't get a lot of sleep. But
so Jen, I would imagine there are probably two big questions that people listening have. Is one, who is Jen Swanson, and two, why is she here? So, and I think we should get right to those things. So I think maybe the second one is the easiest one for me to answer. So you are here because you asked if you could be here.
I did.
Right.
I've been a big fan for a long time since you signed somebody else's book at a comic convention.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that story for sure. Yeah. So Jen is we've known each other. What is it? 2015, 2016?
Oh God, that's so long ago. Yeah. A
long time ago. So Jen and I, we met at C2E2. I had a table there where I was selling some of my books, and Jen wandered by and stopped, and we chatted for a while, and she bought Apocalypticon, I believe, right?
Yep.
And my memory is famously terrible, so I'm going to tell a story, and then you stop me when it goes wrong. And then so we chatted for a while, and then you bought the book, I was so grateful, and then you went your way, and then later, though, you came back because I didn't sign it. Is that right? That's right.
No, I wanted to buy both books that were at the table, and one was yours and one wasn't. And you're like, well, the other guy isn't here, but I'm going to sign his book. I was like, yeah, all right, cool.
Well, that's not quite how I remember it. So
who was this person who never had a table with you again?
Was it Jordan's book? Jordan and I were sharing a table. There was someone at the next table. Was it Jordan?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, no. So you came back. Jordan was gone at the time, and you came back and you said you wanted a book, and I said, well, we can sell you one, but he's not here to sign it. And I jokingly said, but I'll sign it for you if you want. And you seemed really into it. So I signed Jordan's book. I feel like that's probably a faux pas in the
I feel like it's going to go for more money now because it's your signature and not his.
Exactly.
You are the first and probably the only person who's ever bought a book because you think I will lend some sort of resale value to it.
I can be anybody's hype man. I got you.
Thank you. I love that. And we've been in touch ever since. You've read everything I've ever written, it's been amazing. You are very active on my authored pages and stuff. So it's been so fun to connect with you over the last few years. And then you started listening to the podcast. We did this, and you just asked if you could join in for a call, and I thought it was a great idea. So we're so glad to have you. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoy listening to you guys, and I love ghost stories. I'm a little bit more of a believer than Patrick, but I have suspended disbelief.
It's hard to be less. Person. How does that work out for you? To be like one foot in both worlds.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Great.
The house I grew up in Kenosha, a couple blocks from the house I live in currently, had a ghost. But very we determined he was a very nice guy. He just would come up the stairs to the attic where my room was and then disappear. So.
And you would see him?
Yeah, and I thought it was just me until at one point I had a sleepover because I was a teenage girl, and other people were like, "Yeah, there's a guy," and I was like, "Oh, I'm not the only one seeing him. That's cool."
And you confirmed that this was a ghost and not like a guy from the neighborhood. Who's
yeah, no, not a
girl sleeping in the attic.
Not a guy. Just we could see through him and not in the his actions kind of sense. We could literally see through him.
Yeah. Patrick, do you want to try to poke holes in Jen's story? Go ahead. You're a resident skeptic.
I mean, she seems very convinced. I'm sure it was definitely that.
My brother still lives in the house. If you want to go spend the night there, I can probably arrange that.
Could we do a live episode from the attic?
For sure.
When would I ever be in Wisconsin though? Like I
Why
would
would you
never.
ever not be
It's
in
funny you
Wisconsin?
say it. Actually, Patrick and I are going to be together in Wisconsin in just like 3 weeks.
Oh, there you
No.
go.
I don't. I mean, maybe we'll have the train slow down a little bit through Kenosha, but I don't think it's going to stop all the way.
We could jump off easily.
We'll wave.
Easily. This is not a
We'll
Japanese
wave from the
high-speed
window.
train.
We'll wave from
No,
the window.
we could jump.
It's one of those
Roll.
American. It's one of those American trains that like actually is pulled by horses in the front, so I don't think it's going to take that long.
So you could step casually off and be fine.
Have
we
a
could
smoke.
go up. We could
It's
step
right
off.
on. Yeah. Jump on, jump off.
Yeah, we could step off the train. We could go to that. We could do an overnight show at the house, and then walk back to where we got off the train,
And just pick up the caboose as it goes by.
Or you could do an on-location ghosty.
That's true.
We could do that.
We're gonna be in Milwaukee for a baseball game, July 7th and 8th. Baseball game. Yeah, so taking the train.
I feel like on your way back south, you're gonna have to let me know, and we can get a drink or find a ghost.
I will give you the schedule. Because we have to be. It's very. So this is insider baseball. We do every year. We go to a bunch of us go to a different major league stadium or 2 or 3, and we're crossing them off the list. And this summer it's Milwaukee and then Chicago White Sox. So we're gonna go to Milwaukee for 2 games, Friday, Saturday, and then we go down to Chicago. The White Sox are playing the Cardinals on that Sunday. So if you want, you could probably jump onto the train. We're gonna bring drinks onto the train, and you could jump on for a couple stops, and we could do a little toast. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Well, I love that we got this settled.
I'm in.
So Kenosha, for those listening, this is all in Wisconsin. You live in Wisconsin,
Yes.
and Kenosha is it's where you grew up. Is it where you live now also?
Yes, to both.
Okay.
So I was born here and I decided to stay here for some reason.
Well, it's nice that it's kind of equidistant, right, from Chicago, between Chicago and Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, actually, my husband and I were at the Field Museum on Saturday and then the Milwaukee Zoo on Sunday. So we kind
That's
of have the
great.
best of both. It's about an hour to Chicago, depending on traffic, and 40 minutes to Milwaukee.
That's pretty good. And you're right on the Lake Michigan still.
Yep.
So yeah, not bad. You could do worse.
And it's cheaper to live here and work in Illinois than to live in Illinois.
Also, I saw Alice Cooper at whatever the theater is in Kenosha. Oh, when was this? 15 years ago, something like that.
The Brat Stop?
It's been a long
There's
time.
not there's not like a venue. It's the Brat Stop. It's a bar.
Yeah, there was some sort of indoor. I don't know. It was like some sort of theater there. But yeah, Alice Cooper played and it was pretty badass. So
That's it.
that's it. That was the whole thing. I mean, he didn't like hang out with me and give me high
bats or
fives or anything.
Okay. All right. Well, and so for this occasion, Jen, you actually suggested a ghost story from Kenosha, Wisconsin. I'm very excited to get into. And I guess, do we leave anything out? Is there anything else that you want everyone, all 7 of our listeners, to know about you or the situation that here?
The location of this ghost story, they have a winter it's the Harbor Market, so it's like we have a public market there inside, which I think is really funny.
Oh, in the
all these,
building?
Yeah, and
Oh,
my
that's
aunt
not a
and
good
uncle got
idea.
married there. So
How's their relationship?
they got divorced a real long time ago.
That feels right. Yeah. That makes a whole lot of sense. All right. Well, let's get to it. So, on January 8th in the year, Patrick, we're doing a new thing, Jen, where Patrick now tries to guess the year within 5. Want to take a guess? Now, I will say this is not Deep South,
Right.
like it normally is. So
This is Kenosha, Wisconsin, famously incorporated in 1965. So
1994, actually.
I'm going to guess 1949.
You are so far off. So this starts in the year 1900.
That was a good round one, too. I should have just guessed that.
You should have. January 8th, 1900. A young girl and her brother stand on the shore of Lake Michigan in the town of Kenosha, Wisconsin. Look, Jen's cat is here.
That's Zool.
Zool. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Do you want to complain about Zool? Patrick complains about Axel. That's like half our show. Do you have anything to
I mean, he loves Zoom and Teams calls, so whenever he hears voices, he comes up here and comes on my desk. So he just woke up and has made his appearance.
Well, if he has any jokes to share, please pass the microphone.
He does not, but I will let him know.
Mm-hmm. Would he like to just scream in the background for about 10 minutes and have to get edited
that
out?
was my old cat. He's not. My old cat would just go "Meow" for hours and hours.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel at all like you're tempting fate by naming your cat Zool? That feels like a negative energy to bring into the space.
I mean, we've got Zool and Vince, our terror dogs that are cats.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got Gozer and Dana downstairs that are our dogs. I got to name our snake. He's Sir Hiss.
Sir Hiss is a very good snake name.
It was either that or Ka, so yeah. I mean,
my biology
so
teacher in high school had a boa constrictor that she named Ka, and she would have him in the classroom a lot, and we would like pet him and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then
and dance,
she had him,
obviously.
Would dance, yeah. He would do this whole like eye thing, and we'd be like, ah.
And then one of us would be gone.
And then she had him for years, and she loved this snake. She would just like walk around the room, just like draped over her shoulders and stuff. She loved him,
like Britney Spears.
Yes, like Britney Spears, much less attractive and quite a bit older. But I think very much. I would say probably smarter. I don't want to cast aspersions on Britney Spears. I don't know her life except for all her Instagram strange Instagram posts post freedom. But anyway, Mrs. Sadler loved the snake, and then one day in the middle of winter, the snake like snapped at one of her kids, and then she threw Ka out onto the front porch in sub-zero temperatures and let it freeze to death. And I think that's the right move.
I will say my husband and I have both been bit by Sir Hiss once each. Mm-hmm. And everything that you read on like the interwebs is until you get bit by your snake for the first time, you're not really a snake owner.
This is a really good reason to not be a snake owner.
He's very friendly otherwise. I mean, the one time we had just gotten back from the zoo and he was hungry, he smelled animals, got a little ornery.
Yep.
And the second time, I knew he was getting hungry, but my husband had to like replace his water dish. Mm-hmm. And I looked at him and he looked at me and I was like, "Don't you do it. Don't you do it." And then he did it. I was like, "You son of a gun."
Where is the snake? Are you in the cage with the snake? I'm...
No, I took him out. He's about, 3 feet long.
Right.
I had to take him out of the cage and hold him so my husband could get in there and get the water dish.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was one of these things where like you came home and he was like lounging around on the couch and you're like, "You don't fucking touch me. No, don't do it."
No, because at some point he'll get big enough that he could eat the cats. So we keep him and the cats separate.
Mm.
Is this a good idea?
Sure.
Are you sure?
Not my house.
Yeah.
So you have multiple cats.
He stays in his terrarium. It's all good.
I hear they get out sometimes.
He definitely pokes around, like, where he knows the edges are.
Yeah, he's testing. He's a raptor testing the fences. And you wait until he's 4 times bigger than he is now. He's going to get out.
100%. We'll get, an appropriately designed terrarium.
Yeah. Or like a harness or something.
Yeah, we'll walk him out on the street.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
What kind of snake is he?
He's a ball python.
Are they venomous?
No.
No, right?
They're squeezers.
They're constrictors? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Snake people, I don't know. This is a ghost story. And so in January of 1900, a little girl and her brother are standing on Lake Michigan, and they're looking out at the water at a black cloth that's like bobbing out in the water. It's like coming closer and closer to shore. Mm-hmm. And they're just watching it because
there's not a lot to do.
Maple would not stand. She would be like running around. There's no way, but it holds their attention.
We've been here since 9 a.m. and we'll be here until 9 p.m. watching the cloth. There's nothing else to do.
We will lay down on the rocks and we'll nap a bit, and then we'll wake up and we will spend tomorrow watching the cloth.
What nationality are we in Wisconsin?
You're sort of like a weird Dutch German
thing.
All right, by how pale I am, that tracks. Obviously, with Scandinavian and European. So okay.
I don't look. Patrick started it. I was just trying to make him feel better by like, throwing in.
Well, that didn't work.
So anyway, so the cloth finally washes up on the rocks, and the kids go down and check it out.
Like the highlight of the summer, right there. Or
this is January.
Oh, wait. Hang on. January.
I don't know if you know which hemisphere Wisconsin is in, but it's in ours.
I had to acclimate myself. January in Wisconsin, these two children
cold
hang out outside, staring at a black cloth on frozen Lake Michigan.
It's that boring inside the house.
Maybe today that cloth will wash in. Maybe today we'll get the sweet release of death. I don't know. Who cares?
Either way, it's going to be better than yesterday. And so it washes up, and it is a wet. Obviously, I don't know why I wrote wet. God, it's been floating in the lake. It's a wet black robe, and they lift up the robe, and underneath it they find the body of a nun, who appears to have been dead for several days.
So, like, the bloat has set in?
The bloat is in full effect. Ugh. Yes.
Ugh.
And probably pretty purple. I would guess purple. Now, this nun had been running a nearby boarding school called Kemper Hall.
Did they recognize her?
The children?
Yes. Yeah. Did the children recognize? Well, I guess
they didn't go to Kemper Hall. If you just wait until I tell you the details, Patrick, you will learn.
The whole point of the podcast.
For older people.
The whole point of the podcast, I try and guess the ending.
I know, but I was going to make a joke about how this nun was working at a school, and as a teacher, I get it. But now you've really stepped on that. I can't. No, the children do not know her, but it comes out later that she is a nun who's at Kemper Hall. This is going badly already, and we're not very far in. So Kemper Hall was originally built in 1861 by U.S. Senator Charles Durkee. Is that right, Jen? Durkee? It's not like Durkee or some like dumb.
I've never heard it any other way, okay. But we could all be wrong too.
No, this podcast is this is the podcast of record for America. So whatever we say here is pretty much how it goes.
It's the law. Yep.
Yeah. So Charles Durkee, so he was born in Royalton, Vermont, but he moved out to Wisconsin Territory in 1836. And as folks who moved to the Wisconsin Territory did, he got involved in agriculture and lumbering.
Just like lumbering about. I don't like. Is he really big?
Yeah, just stomping and
I love to grow things and walk through the fields, crushing them.
Yeah.
No, Patrick, we all learn how to make our like limbs very heavy, and we just kind of.
You are a Wisconsinite. Okay, I think all right, that makes sense.
That's how they know if you're from out of town. If you get knocked over very easily by other people meandering by, you're from Chicago. So he and his wife, Catherine, they settled into the town called Pike Creek. And he built a log cabin of oak and black walnut in that area.
Sounds nice.
Near, I guess, I don't know. I don't know from wood.
Nice. It might be terrible. I really don't know.
Jen, you know anything about oak and black walnut?
They're both good for smoking a drink.
It's hard to find something that's not good for smoking a drink.
Truth.
But anyway, so the town of Pike Creek would later be called Southport, and this Southport would eventually be called Kenosha. Mm-hmm. So the Durkees, they love the area, and they bought a whole bunch of land, extending all the way from the center of town out to the Lake Michigan lakefront, which is a pretty good chunk of land. Kenosha is not huge, I wouldn't say, but it's a sizable little town. It's like mid-size. How would you describe it?
We're 100,000 people.
God, that's pretty good.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a decent size.
That's a sizable spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you have a pretty popular outlet mall, right? Is that you or is that?
Technically, it's Pleasant Prairie.
Pleasant Prairie gets all the good outlet malls. Anyway, so they bought all this land, and their lives were great for a little while, and then Catherine fell ill and died at the age of 25.
Oh, ouch.
She lived a good long life in those days.
She lived almost to elderly state. So then Charles entered politics. Well, actually, I don't know when he did. He entered politics at an age that Wikipedia did not have on file. So I At some point in his life, he entered politics, and he served 2 terms in the Wisconsin territorial legislature as a Democrat. But eventually he did switch to the Liberty Party, and then later he switched to the Free Soil Party.
What's a free, like?
I was
like, you don't have to pay for soil anymore? I mean, like, if you go to Lowe's, it's like $4 a bag now. It's insane.
Yeah, which is not, I don't know. That feels like a small price to pay for something that gives life to things.
I don't know. I mean, it used to be $1 a bag. I'm just saying,
Well, you should revive
it. You and this inflation.
And this guy wants to give it to me for free, so I don't really know.
That's true. So he's got your vote, huh?
Yeah, oh, easily.
I did look up. I always forget how many political parties were in America around this time.
Yeah, Free Soil Party definitely sounds like it's probably one of like a fascist party. I'll be totally honest. It doesn't sound real great. The fact that it doesn't survive very long.
Find much about them, except for they were, quote, short-lived coalition. They were active from
him.
Yeah, it's very possible. They were active from 1848 to 1854. It's a very short time to be a party. But at this time, so I was I was looking for a full list of different parties right around the 1850s. And what I found, the major parties, and there were like other small ones, but the major ones were Democrats, Republicans, Whigs, Liberty Party, Free Soil Party, and the Know Nothings. Were all major parties. Yeah. Anyway, so Charles was some of those. And he's in the legislature, and he's doing his thing. And at some point, he remarried to a woman named Caroline. Now, it actually sounds like he did a lot of good in the government. So here are some of his accomplishments. He made land in Wisconsin affordable for the working class. He made sure credit terms were easy and fair for people, which sounds pretty good. He was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives in 1848. So he's moving on up. He was part of Wisconsin's first full congressional delegation. So as soon as he became actually recognized in Congress, he was there.
Get that free dirt guy in here. Let's put him in there.
I love corn. I wish we had more dirt for corn. Who's out there who can help us get more corn?
Who here is
Corn
in the
and
dirt
soybeans.
lobby? Oh, I head the dirt lobby. Let's go.
Soybeans is that's a Wisconsin thing.
Yep.
Pretty exciting.
How many things can you make with soybeans?
Most things.
Oh,
You think so?
a lot of stuff now that all the people want, like soy everything.
Well, I mean, now. What about like in 48?
Probably nothing. But I think soybeans replenish like the nitrogen that the corn needs. Things that you learn through osmosis of growing up in Wisconsin. Also, I can tell you when the soybeans are ready to pick. And I point it out to my husband all the time now because it drives him crazy.
Is he from Wisconsin also?
No, he's from Illinois.
Gotta kill him.
It does. It does. It makes him crazy.
Please stop telling me when the soybeans are ready. Anyway, so he's there. So he served 2 terms there, and then he switched parties again. So the newly formed Republican Party, and he ran for Senate, for U.S. Senate in 1854. He won, and he served 1 term where he continued to fight for workers' rights. So he was a different Republican than like Scott Walker.
Just slightly.
Just a bit. God, Walker would have hated him so much.
First off, dirt should never be free. That's just going to make people weak.
Where were we? So so he's in the U.S. Senate from 1855 to 1861. So this gets back to a house that's haunted. So in 1861, his last year in U.S. Senate, he decides to build Durkee Mansion. And I don't know if he called it Durkee Mansion. It would be probably not.
If my last name was Durkee, I wouldn't.
It'd be Durkee everything. Yeah. It would be, yeah.
Kids would be real cruel about that.
It's cool to have a name that rhymes with turkey. I like it.
I guess. There's not, yeah.
Isn't Durkee like the name of a spice company or something?
It is a mustard-based sauce and is delicious.
Ooh.
I love how quickly
All
you
right,
knew
Patrick.
that.
Oh, dude. Bring it up on the big board. Bring up Durkees on the big board.
All right, you're going to share?
Oh, I guess I can.
God, your keyboard is so loud.
I know. Isn't it the best? How do I share?
I do like it because it's everyone can hear it. So it's not like we're just like sitting in dead air because they know you're looking up something.
Yeah. You'd be like,
Yeah.
you'd be like bang on it with a fucking claw hammer. Oh, what are you doing in there? Durkee's famous sandwich. Oh my god, I would.
Okay, so I'm sorry. What makes this different from the tangy zip of Miracle Whip?
Well, this is yellow.
Yeah, this is
So that's different.
This is much stronger of a mustard flavor than a mayonnaise flavor.
It's popular tangy
to find
sandwich.
this.
drink.
If you've got a little dial between like mayonnaise and mustard, like Miracle Whip is much more on the mayonnaise side. This is like you cranked all the way over to the mustard side.
So it's like an 11?
It is. Maybe an 11.1. But it was even served in the Lincoln White House. Now, that didn't seem to work out so well, but I think
I know
for
you
you,
were
it's a kiss of death.
Anyway.
I wonder if this is related to this because Lincoln's going to factor in here in a second.
Ooh.
If I just
For
crack
real,
the
are you,
case,
like,
I am going to
Are
be
you
so
wedging
mad.
it?
So in 1861 he's going to build the Durkee Mansion, and he builds a glorious house. It's a 10-room house built with cream brick in the Italianate Victorian style. Patrick, you were famously you're kind of a student of architecture. Do you want to explain what the Italianate style is?
Yeah, it's lots of. Remember when you take the metal and you make vines out of the metal? That's the Italianate style. Yeah, so it's like vines, but it's durable. So
okay.
Anyway,
I didn't see that in my research. That's interesting.
yeah. Well, I mean, just add it to the next. Just add it to the next part. 'Cause that's part
Jen,
of
do
it.
you want to take a shot?
No, I'm going to trust this. He knew what a land surveyor was, so I'm going to assume he knows what this is.
Every week the role of land surveyor changes just slightly.
It's a little bit. No, the Italianate is actually when they have big statues of the Mario Brothers on every corner.
Oh, that's what that's called.
That's
I was
what
wondering why
you've seen it
Kenosha
everywhere.
is
That's what it's
full
called.
of them.
What's that big pipe in the front yard for? Oh, don't go in there.
No, apparently Italianate drew on the Italian Renaissance of the 16th century, which we don't even need to get into because I know we all know what that looked like.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a cross between like Versailles and Victorian style. The house had an ornate wooden wraparound porch. It had a widow's walk. It had a freestanding suspension staircase in the foyer, which is the largest stairway of its type in the entire state of Wisconsin.
Wow. They get a plaque? You got to get a plaque.
They've got to have a plaque,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Probably.
Yeah.
They give a plaque to everything in Wisconsin.
Yeah. I bet there's a tour, and it's the last stop on the tour is that staircase.
Oh, the
And
plaque.
then they push you off the widow's walk.
Good luck. Bye. We need more tourism. We need more ghosts. Go.
Why is it called? Oh.
Jen, you've been to this building, right?
Yes.
Have you seen the suspension staircase?
No, and I do not like unstable walkways of any sort, bridges, staircases, anything like that. So it sounds kind of like my nightmare.
Now, Patrick is an engineer. Patrick, do you think bridges are unstable walkways?
Some are, certainly. Yeah. Have you seen Indiana Jones? That one's that's like super unstable.
The one in Philadelphia that just, went down.
Yeah.
If you
great.
catch most bridges on fire, they don't stick around for real long. But yeah, I would say
It's weird to me that you can catch concrete on fire,
Fire's a bitch, man.
I guess so. Making bridges out of sticks over there. Anyway, so the pantry had a trap door to the root cellar, and it's rumored that it was actually used to hide runaway slaves during the Civil War, that the Durkees would basically be part of, not the official Underground Railroad, but kind of their own version, which is cool.
So really, they were just taking money from people that were hopeful?
Well, I guess that's a take. That's a cynical version. It's true. If you got all the way to Kenosha,
how much farther do you need to
the
go?
line.
You
That's
know?
true. That's true.
Like at some
But then
point,
at that point, why do you need a spot if you're in Wisconsin?
Yeah.
like you got to start asking questions like, "Can we please switch to the above ground railroad?" I think it's cool. Do you see how many fucking cheese curds there are around here? I don't think we're in
Please.
danger.
Wait, were cheese curds invented back then? When did they become When did they become a thing?
I'm not prepared for this level of
16th century,
research.
I believe it is. It's part of the Renaissance.
They're
Yeah.
Italianate, actually.
That
I
makes
forgot
sense.
that part. It was
Yeah.
the vines and it was the cheese curd.
And when the vines were like bursting out with cheese curds. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. The De Medici family was they were big into cheese curds. That's how they got all the money to support all those artists. Yeah, by selling cheese curds.
Makes sense. Okay.
This house sat on 10 acres of land that bordered Lake Michigan, so it was very nice. And Charles and Caroline move in, and they lived there very happily for a few years. And then Charles was appointed governor of the Utah Territory. So this seems strange.
Can you commute? That seems like a long way.
Yeah.
That's a very long commute.
I did a little digging because it seemed a little strange. And it turns out, so Abraham Lincoln gets shot. He's in his pre-ghost phase at this point. He gets shot. And he has a funeral in Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah, and like in the Durkee sauce is like everywhere in the White House, and he's like, "Oh my god!"
It's like, oh no! It's like the way that Trump threw sandwiches with ketchup all over the wall. Like, people are throwing Durkee sauce on the walls. Yes, and they're like, "Hey, who made this sauce?"
Who made this delicious tangy sauce all over the walls here?
We got to get him to the funeral. He's invited. Give him a +1. So he goes to Lincoln's funeral in Springfield, and Andrew Johnson, who then takes over as president, apparently appointed him at the funeral as governor of the Utah Territory.
At least it's not another like mistress situation for a long commute.
True.
Yeah, Wisconsin does have its share of those, historically speaking, based on our research.
Yeah.
But it seems that it may have been because there are like rumors that he had to relocate for health reasons. And usually when you're moving to a drier climate, unless you're those idiots who go into the Kentucky caves, it's tuberculosis.
Yeah.
He's got to have tuberculosis. Like, I feel very confident saying Charles Durkee had tuberculosis.
Like I know this guy out in Utah. He talks into a hat, and I think he has the tuberculosis thing all figured out there. We just have to drink water out of this lake for a few years, and it should be totally cool.
It's totally fine.
Yeah. And Durkee was like, I don't know, we have caves in Wisconsin. Should I just go into one of those?
Yeah.
We do have caves in Wisconsin.
There were some a famous meeting in one of those caves that we covered a few weeks ago. So they moved to Utah, probably because he has tuberculosis. Oh, and also the other thing that makes it probably TB, he died 5 years later.
That's about right.
Yeah, and it was while on a trip. So this poor guy, he actually died on his way back to Utah from a trip from God knows where. He died in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Really good idea to take a long train trip with less of tuberculosis.
I would like each of you to name one worse place to die than Lincoln, Nebraska. Patrick, would you want to go first?
Specifically of tuberculosis? I don't know.
Cairo, Illinois.
God, that was going to be my guess too.
Is there a pyramid there or something?
No, we drove through it one time, and it is so sad.
I thought it was like themed. Is it not?
No, it's just the theme is desperation and sadness. And we saw a dog running around in the road, and we went my husband took some pictures because it was creepily beautiful. But there was like this old motel with like doors open, and you could see like beds just like half out of the motel. It was awful.
That's called a free hotel, and that's a good value.
That's how you get tuberculosis.
That is how you get tuberculosis.
And a plethora of other things. Sorry, Patrick, I stole yours. What's yours now?
Gonna have to go with the good old standby Detroit, Michigan. Yeah.
Why?
Why Detroit, Michigan is the worst place to die? Well, number one, nobody's going to notice for a long time. But number two, it's very cold. I don't like
I don't think it's warm in Lincoln.
In Lincoln, Nebraska? Nobody's there, so
so no one has ever recorded a temperature there.
Could be warm, could be cold, could be people, could be not.
All right. So anyway, after 4 years, the Durkees leave the mansion in 1865, and they sell it to St. Matthew's Episcopal Church. Yeah, that's what you do.
They got all the cash.
Well, and they sell it. Actually, this is pretty good. So they sell it. He sells it in exchange for a lifetime annuity for Caroline.
Okay.
So this guy seems like a pretty actually decent person, and also he's got to be sick as hell. Like we don't want any money, but just give a lifetime annuity for my wife. So it seems like a good thing to do. So I think I feel very cautious saying about this ever about someone who lived in the 19th century, but I think I'm pro Durkee.
Do I have a sauce for you?
Can we get them to sponsor the show in addition to Pickney Ben?
There's a line, okay? There's a line. after Pinkney Ben gets sick of us, it is Pringles, and then it is Skittles.
Yep.
And then
Durkee's.
I think.
Yeah. I think Durkee's could be next. Yeah.
So how many times do I have to guest spot before Tara will send me a goodie box? Because I can't get this anywhere near me.
That's a very good question.
It's true.
That nobody's ever going to ask.
Unfortunately, Tara will never listen to this episode.
That's okay. I made friends with her on Facebook.
That's good. Well, if you'd come to the live show, like we were trying to get you to do, you would have come on.
My
the
stupid
box.
husband had to bring his mom to the play.
Ugh. Theater. Gross.
Moms.
Oh, don't get me started on moms. I wonder if my mom listens. That was a joke, Mom. Anyway, so the church takes over, and they decide to turn the house into a girls' school. Now, obviously, 10 rooms is not enough. So, like, there's a lot of girls in Wisconsin. And so they start adding on new buildings. The ballroom in the original house was divided into smaller rooms to make more bedrooms. So they're adding more buildings, but they're also, like, being economical with what they have.
Wait, hang on. So you have a 10-room house. You know, most of us be like, oh, that's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, living. Yeah. One of the rooms is a ballroom. I think
He was in politics, Patrick.
but like
he entertains.
I would have a ballroom if I had the space.
Yeah. Where would you? I mean, where would you in your house right now, Patrick? Where would you entertain if you had like a dinner party? Well, what would you do? You have nothing. You have nothing.
I know.
The basement.
Yeah, I have a small corner in the basement behind the hot water heater that I could probably fit a few people. Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta have a ballroom. So they divided the smaller rooms for bedrooms, and they mortgaged the property for $4,000 and used the money to add an east wing to the mansion.
Okay.
And $4,000 then seems to be about $75,000 today.
Whew.
Yeah. So it's still it's a hell of a deal on a new wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can buy a whole nother ballroom for that.
That's right.
Ballrooms. It's Wisconsin.
Yeah, they may have overpaid. But it's a 3-story build. It has a kitchen, a dining room. It has classrooms and more dormitories. So it's a pretty sizable sounding wing. Now, by 1871, the folks at St. Matthew's, they had sold the place to the Community of the Sisters of St. Mary. So keep it in the family a little bit.
Yeah.
The sister.
Yeah. The family.
Do you want to expound on that, or
the Holy Family?
Oh, sure, right. They sold it to Jesus in 1871, and the Sisters of St. Mary renamed it. They're the ones who renamed it Kemper Hall.
Okay.
Does it say why Kemper?
No, I was just thinking that as I read that aloud. It probably does.
Is it Ellie Kemper? It's probably Ellie Kemper.
It's Ellie Kemper.
Yeah.
It is,
Okay. I kind of
absolutely.
figured. Yeah.
They foretold the coming of Ellie Kemper.
That makes a lot of sense about the statues in town.
Yeah. Yeah, she's the new Jesus. She's been really quiet about it. Like, she's so nice, but yeah, new Jesus. So they continue to expand the building, and the expansion now includes a chapel with a bell tower and a rose window. And it also, what?
What the fuck's a rose window?
It's a window that looks like a rose.
Like from Beauty and the Beast? Like where you look through
it's
and
exactly
you see the rose?
like that,
okay.
actually.
That's fair.
I will look up a rose window for you. I'll show you.
There's an old hag. Turns him into a,
Yeah.
I've been to
They're all
Wisconsin
magical.
before. Yeah.
You ever seen Notre Dame? You ever seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame? Is probably a better question.
That was like the one Disney movie that nobody saw, so no.
No, that is literally my husband's favorite Disney movie.
Really?
Yeah.
It is one I've never seen.
It's
I hate that Patrick's right
fantastic
about it, but
and awful.
Oh, Rose Window's like the weird, like fractal one. Okay, I don't like that.
Oh.
it looks like a rose. Like,
Ow! It makes my eyes hurt just looking at it. It is disturbing.
I mean, I don't know if I'd go with
Beauty.
rose. It's probably more like a chrysanthemum.
Yeah, I can
well,
see
you
that.
should take it up with Inequity. I think they would love to hear that.
I will.
Yeah.
I will write them a letter.
Dear Wikipedia, I believe.
We have a great historical wrong that needs to be righted.
Trillions of times on the internet. Right now.
I'll die on that hill.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to die on a hill, that feels like a productive one. I've never seen Hunchback of Notre Dame, but my wife Erin did when she worked at Disneyland when she was.
Wait. How have I never heard this?
Have you not? We must have talked about this on the show before.
Disneyland.
No.
Did she take the
Erin
pictures?
grew up in Southern California. Oh, in fact, there's a picture of what I'm about to tell you on our bookshelf right now. I just found it. I don't know why Erin took it out, but it's there. She grew up in Southern California, and she's an actor. She was working at Disneyland as an actor, and one of the roles she played was Esmeralda.
Really?
Like a few days ago, I was walking through the house and I saw she had pulled out like 3 photos from the photo album that were just sitting on. I don't know why she pulled them out, but they were just sitting on there. And I flipped through them, and one of them is her. The first time I've ever seen it, her in her Esmeralda costume.
Wow.
It's like she knew.
It's like she knew. She felt this. But she played that. She played Mary Poppins.
Oh,
that was one of the other photos on there too.
That's one of my like all-time faves.
Yeah, she did that. She also did. She was Sebastian the Crab.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, she was. It was mostly handwork at that point.
Is that how she knew she was going to get fired? She's like, I got moved.
Is that why you married her?
Yes, it's a sizable portion. Mm-hmm. It's part of the allure.
I've seen the things you can do with that crab.
Played Rafiki, and that feels like appropriation. But well, there's like tracks, right? So you're in a show with like
this is all over the place. Esmeralda,
yeah. You wouldn't get it. You're not like a theater person. You don't understand. There's tracks.
Also, you don't understand Disney well enough, obviously.
Yeah, Patrick, you feel stupid. Ugh, what an idiot.
I feel pretty certain that you get assigned Sebastian right before you get shit canned. That's what I hear. That's what I'm hearing right now. Esmeralda, Mary Poppins, Sebastian. Then we'll see what happens from there.
So you're not a Sebastian fan? Not a Sebastian.
I am not. No, I guess not. No.
Why?
I mean, you can hate certain Disney characters. You don't have to like them all. You have to like.
Yeah, no, you have to like Sebastian.
No, Sebastian. He's too neurotic. He doesn't redeem himself. There's like no arc there. No.
What are you talking about?
Have we seen the same?
I think so.
The Little Mermaid.
Look, this is a different podcast, and we have to move on. But we'll start a new show. This is going to explore Patrick's whole deal with this. Yeah. God, where were we?
Talking about Sebastian the Crab.
I don't think so. Okay.
The ballroom.
God, we haven't gotten to the ghost yet.
New rooms.
There's a ghost in here too? Shit.
This is the longest episode we've ever done.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, what are you doing here? Okay. Oh, okay. So the Rose Window. Yes, it's great. It also has rooms for nuns who are brought in to teach, I assume, those ladies a thing or two. Mm-hmm. Did either of you ever... Patrick, I know you didn't go to Catholic school. Jen, you go to Catholic school?
I went to Catholic school for like 12 years, dude.
You did?
Yes.
Nah, doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
That's not the vibe I get from you. Do you ever have a nun?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah. All the way up through 4th grade, it's all nuns.
Are they violent nuns or just like cool nuns?
They weren't pleasant nuns.
Did you get rulered?
No, it was right. It was right at the end of the ruler smack of the finger smacking thing. That kind of petered out in the early 80s, and
it was weird though, right? Because like you could tell they wanted to, but
absolutely.
they were told they couldn't do it anymore.
Absolutely.
And that was even more. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a very unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had nuns. Anyway.
So anyways, they all decide to clean up the neighborhood and teach the riffraff how to sing.
Yes.
Is that okay?
This is the basis of Sister Act. So the nuns move in, and it's at this point things start to go a little wrong. In 1878, Sister Margaret Clare comes to Kemper Hall. Mm-hmm. She was born Margaret Garvey on October 13th, 1838. She was a Civil War bride, which means her husband had died of typhoid while in battle.
That's a very specific reason.
Yeah, I think it probably means her husband just died in the Civil War. But,
okay.
Hers in particular died of typhoid, that's a bad way to go. That's like
pooping everything out, right?
That's like liquid
everything.
Out of every orifice, I think. Yeah.
Almost as bad as Ebola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are both pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not good. So that happened to her, and then she entered the convent, and she was very no nonsense.
Mm-hmm. No singing.
No. There's no sister act happening in Sister Margaret Clare's convent. Now, so she was. People didn't like her a lot because she was mean, but there's not a lot about her time there. But she retired in 1917, but did continue to live at Kemper Hall. But she was just kind of generally an awful presence. And so one day, some students pushed her down a spiral staircase, and she broke her neck and died.
Some students did?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
How old are the students?
You've had nuns, Patrick. You get it.
We didn't have stairs in my school. I'm starting to figure out why.
I mean, I don't know how bad you have to be for people to actively push you downstairs.
As a nun. Like she's not just like somebody off the street who, like chews food loudly or something. She's like an actual nun.
So that's what it would take for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, if she wasn't a nun. But I mean,
sure.
Like this is like one way ticket to hell here. Like you push a nun down the stairs and kill her. Like I don't see how you come back from that one. I really don't.
And a spiral staircase. I mean, the theatrics.
Yeah.
I mean
the sound. Yeah.
It's gonna be fun for a while. Like watching her. It's like watching a slinky go downstairs. I think at that point, just for for a few seconds, and then it's gonna settle on you what you've done, and that's gonna be less fun. So she dies, and not long after, her ghost begins to appear on the staircase.
Also falling down.
Well, climbing up or going down. It doesn't say climbing down. It just said going down. So maybe falling.
What's that horrible noise?
Is that sounding like Mr. Bean falling down all these stairs? She's always dressed in her habit, and she's always looking very angry. And she was the first ghost of Kemper Hall, but she is not the last. According to the Kenosha Evening News, on January 2nd of 1900, a Sister Augusta from Chicago was attending an annual retreat at Kemper Hall. Sister Augusta didn't show up for the 6 o'clock service, and so the nuns were a little concerned, so they launched a search.
Search every stairwell.
They searched stairwells first, everybody. Stairwells first.
And the pantry trapdoor.
Pantry, yes. God, that doesn't come up again in the story, and that was the most surprising thing of this whole research, is that no one has hid any bodies down there. What a perfect place.
That's where I put them.
Well, I'm going to take a note about that for when the police ask someday down the road. So there's no sign of her anywhere. But she had left behind her handbag, her cross, and other insignias of the sisterhood, which you don't just leave behind. Those are things you carry with you.
Women don't leave their purse behind.
Right.
Yeah, probably that too. Is that real? You could leave your purse somewhere.
No.
Someone's going to bring it back to you, right? Drop it in the mailbox. That's what I always do.
Yeah. We usually have.
If I went in a bar and
just
shove them in the blue boxes. Really?
Yeah. So we don't leave them places.
Well, she did. So that made them concerned, and they doubled their search. They couldn't find her anywhere. And a few days later, on January 5th, a letter arrived addressed to Sister Augusta. So they opened it because they didn't know what to do, because maybe
it's a clue.
This will help us.
Yeah.
So they opened the letter, and based on the letter, Sister Augusta was actually planning on leaving the sisterhood entirely, and she was planning on moving to St. Louis to live with a friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she was from St. Louis and planning on moving back there. And then 3 days later, of course, her body washed up on the shore when the 2 children found it. The day after that, they held a ceremony for her. Her name was Augusta Pauline Henderson. They held a ceremony for her, and then she was transported back to St. Louis, where she was buried next to her mother, who I don't imagine was the friend that she planned to live with. Her death was ruled a suicide, And it may have been. Sister Augusta had actually requested a leave of absence to go home to St. Louis and rest because she had spent her time in Chicago working with the disadvantaged. And that was very upsetting for her. And so she'd asked for a leave, and she was granted the leave, but she only had a few days to wait until she could return home. So they're like, well, she almost had the leave that she needed, so maybe it wasn't suicide. So no one.
How
really
are we
knows
not
what
liable for this? Let's try to figure out a story
Suicide?
here. Yeah.
So her body's laid to rest in St. Louis, but her spirit remains with the Kemper. On October 29th, 1995, Kenosha news writer Don Jensen interviewed a woman who had seen Sister Augusta's ghost. And she recounted how one day while working in the kitchen of the building, she had passed one of the staircases in the Kemper Center, and she heard footsteps on the stairs. And so she looked up to see a pale white woman in a brown habit standing on the stairs. And the woman didn't say a word, but just smiled at her. Which I think is the worst thing a ghost can do.
Yeah. Do something spooky.
Yeah. This smile is not good. The kitchen. So the woman, she runs back to the kitchen. She tells everyone, and they searched the house and never found another single person in the house. There was no one supposed to be there. To their knowledge, there was no one there. They never found a sign of the nun. October 26, 2003, Kenosha news writer Bill Robbins interviewed a man who had once taken a tour of Kemper Hall. And the man said he was with a large group, and as they moved past the main staircase, he lingered behind a bit to get a better look and some more photos. And his eyes wandered up to the top of the staircase where he saw a nun in an old-fashioned habit leaning over the rails. And she was looking directly at him. At this point, nuns are not there anymore.
Right.
So this is a surprising thing for him to see. So he thought he was just seeing things, so he closed his eyes and he kind of walks away. But he looks back on his way out of the room, and she's still there, and she's still looking at him. And then she says, "I've been waiting for you."
Oh, no.
That's worse than smiling. That's
Yep.
yeah.
And then
sorry.
she smiles and gives him a little wave. I assume he died 6 minutes later. That is the most terrifying thing.
Back to the rental car, back to the airport, fly to the other side of the earth, and live there from now on.
Yeah. And today the building is, I guess, essentially, it's an event space. And it's, kind of a museum, right? I'm sure they do tours of the space and things. And today, disembodied voices are heard throughout the building. And every now and then, ghosts will appear in photos taken by visitors to the mansion. So it's a unique architecture style, the Italianate Victorian,
right,
as we've discussed at length.
Yeah, with the cheese curds.
Sure, yes.
And
the
Mario.
vines. And Mario.
Mario Brothers.
Draws a lot of architecture students and photographers. So every now and then they'll find a ghostly nun or some other face in the window of their photos. The most famous of these is a set of photos taken by David Schmickel in 1996, who found a handful of ghosts looking out the windows when he developed the photos. More than once, complete strangers have appeared in the wedding photos of folks who have gotten married on the grounds. So I think, Jen, you should...
I'm going to have to ask my aunt and uncle.
Check.
Yeah. Like, they'll look at the photos later and be like, this is a person who we don't know who is in period clothing. Now, it could be a hilarious prank that they play as like part of the package. But you should check and let us know. And nuns aren't the only ghosts at Kemper Hall. So a woman who graduated from the school in 1974 claimed that she and her classmates would often feel something brush past their legs like an animal would.
Ugh.
And every now and then they would see a dog that would disappear through a wall.
Well, that makes me sad.
Why?
'Cause
dog's living its best
You want the dog to
afterlife.
stay? Yeah.
I just want the dog to be happy and not dead and trapped there.
I don't know if the same rules apply for dog ghosts. Like,
I hope not.
do animals become ghosts because they have unfinished business? Like, what possibly could that be?
Dude,
Somebody was mean to him.
I've never seen a dog that did not do his business the moment he wanted to do it. So I don't think that's the
My
issue.
dog.
Yeah, exactly.
His dog just chose to be there, I think, forever.
I think so.
Maybe he liked it so much.
Yeah. There's
Is he like an ottoman?
Ooh.
Is this whole thing just a whole... is there a beast involved? Possibly. Let's see. What Oh, well, apparently the dogs were pretty common to see around the grounds in the old days. And there is a grassy alcove where several of the nuns' dogs were buried.
Oh.
So they now haunt the building too, which I don't know, you guys are bringing this down a bit. I think it's sweet. I think it's great. Because that dog's never going to die again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little pet that you never have to worry about ever leaving you.
Feeding.
There's apparently a bunch of ghosts.
Or feeding, yes.
There's apparently a bunch of ghosts to give them pets all the time, too. So it's probably not a
It
bad
makes me
life.
feel better that they had a little like cemetery for the pets. So.
Yeah, it's Pet Cemetery. Nothing bad has ever happened to a place called
Nope.
Pet Cemetery.
No.
Nope. This is Wisconsin.
And there may be a young girl haunting the place too. So one Kemper Center employee had to take a few days off after experiencing a certain ghost. He went up the spiral staircase one day to look around, and as he looked out the west-facing windows there, he had the feeling that he wasn't alone. So he turns around and he finds a young girl standing in the doorway. This employee tells her, like, she's actually not allowed upstairs. I'm sorry, please go back downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So the girl looks at him, her eyes get very large, and she runs away. And she passes through the door out into the hallway.
Ugh.
So the employee is very concerned about this.
Mm-hmm.
And he chased after her, I assume while having wet himself completely. And he follows her down a hallway, and she disappears right through another door.
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy is losing his shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what is happening? So he tries a knob on the door that she's gone through, and it's locked. So she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Today, the mansion is a historic site. Like I said, they have arts events, weddings, and a Halloween haunted tour. Have you ever been to the Halloween? Do they still do the Halloween haunted tour?
I believe they do, with the exception of like COVID times, and then they have the market in the wintertime.
Oh yeah, right.
Which is lovely. I buy pig's ears for my dogs there.
Are they your dogs or are they ghost dogs?
I think they're my dogs. If they're not, I shouldn't have to be paying the food bill. So
That's true. And the grounds are open to the public. So if you go to the Kemper Center and see a ghost, we do want to hear about it. So Jen, this is specifically for you or for anyone else. And also,
yeah, I'm gonna have to go look more.
Yeah, ask your aunt. Check those wedding photos. Oh, I don't remember writing this, but but there's a coda here. It says, and hey, listen, there's another ghost in Kenosha. Oh, this is a teaser. I forgot about this. Hey, listen, everybody. Hey, listen. Everybody.
Yeah?
There's another
What's up?
ghost in Kenosha. There's another ghost there.
Huh?
And this one has a connection to legendary architect Daniel Burnham. You might recognize him from Devil in the White City, who designed the World's Fair in Chicago. Now the story of this ghost, it's just a ghosty. But if you want to hear it, you can get a few friends together for an Is This a Ghost listening party. If you do that, you get some friends to come over to your place, listen to this very fun podcast. They will begrudgingly come to your house because hopefully you lured them with snacks and alcohol. And you let us know, and you send us an email to isthisaghost@gmail.com and let us know the names of people coming. And we will send you a personalized hello and also a brand new ghosty that Patrick does not yet know about another Kenosha ghost that is a very good one.
I don't know about this, so I'm excited. I'm gonna have to get friends together.
I would recommend it. I don't have notes on what it is. I have notes somewhere about this. The thing about having children is you never sleep, and so you forget a lot of stuff. But I put good in all caps, so it's got to be a really good one. I wouldn't do that otherwise. So let us give you an excuse to have friends over. And then, those of you who haven't rated or reviewed, this is your chance. Today's your day. Seize a day. Seize a moment. Jen has done it. Jen has given us a rating and a review. And won't you please also? That's all. Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much for being here. This was our show
Thank
today.
you for having me.
What did you think?
Fabulous as always. I would give you 10 stars if I could, but it limits us to 5.
That's good. We'll cut
I'll
that.
email-
We'll make a promo
Apple.
out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell Tim Cook. People were pretty mad when he unveiled the price of the Vision Pro, so he's looking for some wins. So this is an easy one.
Yeah.
But did you see...
Would you pay $3,500 for?
Did you see what they were teasing? What Bob Iger was teasing with that at Disney?
I have not.
Oh my gosh, you guys got to look it up.
Is it a hotel concept?
No.
Where you spend 3 days indoors
No.
arguing
Because
about
that's
Star
not
Wars
going
canon?
great.
I mean, It was like Mickey would be in your house, and it was pretty amazing.
Not
I'm
Oh, but an AR experience, not like Mickey.
well, that would be real creepy and probably some legal issues.
That's what.
But I don't make the kind of money to spend that on a toy.
Well, Mickey in the living room is one person's toy, but that's another person's life,
I wish to live with Mickey. Thank you.
I mean,
that's an investment.
yeah. I don't know if I could do that. He's too happy all the time.
Well, let me tell you something. We went to a community event a couple months ago, and there was a Mickey and Minnie, but like a live version. But these were knockoff costumes that could not have been licensed by Disney.
Like Times Square.
I would say worse than Times Square. Like it's like if you made like a picnic, like a disposable picnic table cover into a Mickey Mouse costume.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of what this was like, and they didn't look happy. Is the point? They looked quite unhappy. Actually, it was quite sad. So that pokes a hole in your whole thing, Jen. So I'm sorry, but sometimes Mickey's real sad.
That sounds awful. I will say, Disney stock went up $2 when Bob Iger was talking about
Gotta
this.
be something. Something there.
My husband was
Something
real
there.
excited.
Well, if you like Bob Iger and Disney like we do, keep listening because we do talk about Disney just so much. And thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week on Is This a Ghost?